everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dr. Kaplan. I'll be the host for this evening's discussion. Welcome to Dispensary Highlights with Triple M. It's a mix of an open forum for questions and answers and a chance for Triple M to tell us about themselves and the company. It's also a chance to learn about this, not just about this spectacular dispensary, but also about the benefits of cannabis and the kinds of perspectives and work that goes into the behind the scenes of a successful medical dispensary. And of course, any other, cannabis topics that are coming up as questions. We're gonna kick things off with an introduction to Triple M, but for those who are with us live, please feel free to use the submit questions or the Q&A section or the chat. And we have some questions coming in through Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And we'll see where that takes us with the brief time we have tonight. This is also being recorded so that people who want to can get to know Triple M, but anybody who's not here live can still watch on our YouTube channel. So with that, I will leave it to you guys. Does anybody want to kick off an introduction?
Sure. Thanks for having us. My name's Kevin O'Reilly. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Triple M. And Triple M is a vertically integrated cannabis operation that is both locally owned and operated. We have a facility in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where we cultivate, where we process, and also sell both on the medical side and the adult use recreational side. We also have a dispensary in Mashpee on the Cape, the Upper Cape. Right now it is medical only, but we anticipate that we'll have adult use recreational sales by June, hopefully sometime early June, mid-June, to service all of the adult use customers on Cape Cod. What else would you like to know? A little history about ourselves and how we came to be? And
of course, yeah. No, I think
okay.
So folks watching want to know all about you. Tell them everything.
So Triple M was started by a group of local doctors, actually, in 2013, after the passage of medical marijuana via the ballot question in 2012. At that time, the doctors saw the benefits. They were ahead of the curve, saw the benefits of medical cannabis and the use for such things as pain and anxiety and so many other of the symptoms that we now help our patients with. And they formed a group, and Keith and I were some of the first people that they brought on board. Mike was soon to follow. Keith is our head of processing, and Michael Keneally is our dispensary manager in Plymouth. We located a vacant industrial building in the Plymouth Industrial Park, and we're able to take that 46,000 square foot facility and convert it into our medical operation. We started the permit process, as so many others did, in late 2013, 2014. We did not get our doors open until early 2017. So it was a long process. And sure, many others who have been on your show can probably tell the same tale, that it's been an adventure. And
those 3 years, you were still paying rent.
That's correct. Yes, we were. We were paying rent, and we're also once we started construction in late 2016, we had to start paying lots of taxes to the town of Plymouth as well. But we're happy to do so. The facility in Plymouth has now grown to almost 100 people on site between the cultivation, processing, and dispensing operations. And we have about 25 people in Mashpee with more folks to come. So just popped up on my screen there. Apologize for that. As I said, we are locally owned. We're locally grown. That's our tagline. We like to think of ourselves as Massachusetts hometown dispensaries, especially given the fact that Plymouth is known as America's hometown. And we're very pleased that we're able to hire lots of local people for our staff. We think of ourselves as a very family-friendly, staff. A lot of the folks that we've hired in Plymouth, some of them I've coached in Little League Baseball and soccer and wrestling and all kinds of things. It's we don't have to do a lot of recruiting, word of mouth, because of we think we're a great place to work and a great place for our patients to come to. So that's the brief overview, and happy to dive into some of the details.
Yeah, no, it sounds really warm and inviting. Is that the atmosphere you think patients are experiencing?
Yes. Not only are we proud of our product, but we're also very, very proud of our staff. When you come to the Plymouth facility, it being in an industrial park and sitting up on a hill surrounded by a fence, it could look a little intimidating sometimes to a first-time patient. But once they walk through that door, Mike and his staff do a tremendous job of being welcoming and taking all the time that folks need to answer questions. One of the things that's unique about both of our dispensaries is that not only are there separate entrances for the medical and the retail side, but we actually have physical separation, and not by a stanchion or a wall or anything, but they're two separate rooms. So if you're a medical patient and it's your first time and you want to spend half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour working with one of our dispensary agents to figure out what is best for you, you can do that. It doesn't have that rush feel of a retail operation.
That's great. I imagine COVID has brought some unexpected curveballs into the situation. Do you guys still have protections for patients? Are there policies that you guys how does that look for patients now?
Absolutely. Mike, do you want to dive in with that one?
Sure, absolutely. So what we have in place is we have a limited capacity at all times, and that's across both dispensaries as well as the waiting areas, even down to how many people we can check in at reception at a time. In addition, we're constantly cleaning. I mean, we have a scheduled cleaning every 15 to 20 minutes, and then if there's any additional contact, we're cleaning surfaces at that point too. I mean, with the debit readers that we have to use, we're constantly wiping them down. We have plexiglass set up between staff and patients for added safety, security, and just peace of mind for the customer in general.
And I think one of the great things about both locations is our curbside pickup. I mean, that's been a real game changer for us, because we have so much space in our parking lot. People can pull right up, and we have them in and out of there in 5 minutes to pick up their orders. With the order ahead function that we have now on our website, I think especially when we first reopened due to the pandemic, curbside has been a real game changer, and last year was a lifesaver for us.
Absolutely.
I wonder what's the typical feedback you guys get about the dispensary? What are patients experiencing? How are they reporting that back? What's the feel when someone walks in?
So the nice thing with our dispensary is, as Kevin alluded to before, our staff is comprised almost or exclusively of local people. So there's a very kind of comfortable feel when people walk in. Also, the fact that, again, like Kevin said, we'll take the time. We'll talk to people if they want to speak individually, one-on-one. We're happy to do that. But even in the dispensary itself, where it is a separate room, people feel very comfortable just coming in and talking. But again, I think the overall feel would be just it's a very upbeat, happy place. People are genuinely happy to be there, and I think that comes through to the customer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And does the dispensary have a sort of specialty that they kind of want to put out, or are they sort of working to make sure lots of different kinds of patients are satisfied with different kinds of products, or what's the orientation as far as selection?
I would say we have probably one of the largest menus around, because there's such a variety of symptoms that people want to treat. And so we get a lot of feedback from our patients and our customers with suggestions on things that they would like to try. And the fact that Keith runs our processing lab right on site allows us a lot of flexibility. You know, people do have to understand that with the CCC protocols that we can't turn anything around, in a matter of days. But Keith, there has been some examples of people who have come in and asked us for specific tinctures or RSOs that have become quite popular on our menu based on customer suggestions.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think I agree with you. Customers are coming, to the dispensaries treating a whole host of different symptoms. How do you navigate the balance between sort of sustaining products that are really well liked and sell very well versus, carrying new products, exploring new opportunities and strains for sort of other, for the variety of conditions that might be coming?
Well, I think one thing, people like to take a look at the menu in the morning, and it's rewarding for us to see that when we have our flower on the menu or a new strain or something coming out, we see a lot of bodies coming through the door, looking for our flower. On the MIPs and some of the other products, I think that we're always trying to make sure that there's something there. There's something for everyone, whether it's our award-winning salve, our sweet relief that people like. I don't know, Mike, maybe there's some of the other products that have been popular over the last month that you want to weigh in on.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, it is great. We try and keep an option available at all doses in all mediums as best we can. You may come in and it was a pineapple gummy last time and we sold out of that one, but we still have a cherry that's the same dose. So we're trying to keep that consistency there, while also being able to roll out new products like the can of spritzers that just came on. They've been a huge hit. And even time back in, any of the new water soluble distillate products, they've just been flying off the shelves. It's been great to see. But as far as rotation goes, we try and always have options available while incorporating new products to try and give people new avenues to go down.
Typically, we always have something in a high dose, a low dose, and a 1-to-1. And Keith can probably talk about that process a little bit in terms of making sure that the shelf stays stocked.
Well, Ben, I was just reminded when you were asking how about our interaction with the patients. We try to make a lot of products of what we call whole plant or full spectrum. For example, we have an oil, Rick Simpson oil or RSO, that some patients who have severe pain or some severe conditions use. And I remember one time we got feedback from a patient who said that he had been using our RSO successfully to help him ease some pain and help him to sleep. But the most recent RSO that he had purchased was actually keeping him awake. And we were surprised to learn that this particular patient was able to understand or experience rather the difference between a sativa-based product and an indica-based product. And based on that feedback from that patient, we now sell specific whole plant products that are either indica or sativa-based. And that was a real eye-opening experience for me to get that feedback. I was not aware that people were able to tell the difference. So we do respond to patient requests and inquiries, and we're very open about how we make things, what the process is. Sometimes some patients are very sensitive to certain other chemicals and things like that, so they want to know exactly what's in it. And just last week, I sent an email to a patient explaining exactly how we make our distillate using ethanol. We don't use any butane or propane. And the patient was very pleased that I was so open and quick to respond to his question.
Awesome, thank you. Actually, it reminds me of a situation earlier today. I have a patient who doesn't tolerate sugar or PEG, and we're having some trouble because most of the edibles in the Massachusetts market are made with some form of sugar, whether it's butter based or candy based. do you guys happen to sell any products that don't have sugar, or are you mindful of sort of maybe food intolerances that patients have?
Yeah, I get inquiries about that every now and then. The problem is if we're not quite sure if there's enough demand for a particular, someone asks us for gluten-free or vegan products and things like that, and we could do that, but it's a big investment in terms of the process and inventory and everything. And so I guess I leave it up to the dispensary people to tell me if there's enough people asking for something, then we would certainly go ahead and do it.
Awesome. That's great to hear that you're responsive to feedback. I think
Yeah.
a lot of patients want to feel heard and want to understand that their voices are welcome, and it's encouraging to hear that. To sort of step, I guess, a little bit into the retail space, what are the avenues that patients have to purchase? Are patients only purchasing on site? Do you have an online presence? Do you have a telephone presence?
Yes to all of that. Yeah,
Okay. What, and pigeon?
yeah, I don't know. I cut in on Mike there. Sorry, Mike.
Oh, no, it's fine. So yeah, we do have electronic pre-orders. We do take calls over the phone. We do prefer that people use the website. It's a lot cleaner that way. We offer in-store pickup, curbside pickup. We don't do delivery as yet, but I think that's something that we'll be looking into. But no, I mean, we basically try and make everybody feel comfortable when they come in. If they don't feel comfortable coming in the building, we're happy to help them outside. And as Kevin alluded to before, the curbside pickup, we've got it pretty streamlined at this point. It's essentially a drive-up window, and we keep people coming and going very quickly. And again, are very cognizant of wiping everything down, keeping it clean out there, because those are the people that are, the ones that are immunocompromised and don't feel comfortable coming inside.
For sure, for sure. And I assume I know the answer to this, but what do customers do if they have questions? Obviously, if they're ordering online, it might be tricky to engage with someone, but what are the choices people have?
Our receptionists are fantastic. They are on the phone constantly all day, answering questions. Honestly, some of the time I go up there, I don't know how they juggle, they're checking people in medically, checking people in adult on the adult use side, and they're on the phone with someone at the same time. And the conversation they're having is direct and focused. And they do a really good job of giving people a baseline to start out from. That being said, if they ever are uncomfortable or feel that they want to kind of get a second opinion, we will transfer them back to the dispensary, and an agent will take the call and take as much time on the phone as needed.
Awesome.
And sometimes I get, the referral comes all the way back to me. I remember one time there was a mother who had a child who was on the autism spectrum and was getting a 20-to-1 product, which helped her child a lot. But she had to go all the way to California to get it, and wanted to know if there's something that we could provide. And we did our best to try to accommodate her.
Oh, that's great. Speaking of sort of special populations or unique populations, do you guys serve any particular populations like that? Do you have a line of products for pediatrics or for older adults, or any specific, I guess, symptom-related products or disease-related products?
I don't think so. One of the problems with cannabis is that it's not very specific. It is a general therapy that you have to sort of self-titrate to find out what's best for you. If I'm asked, I usually recommend that people start with a 1-to-1 product, half THC, half CBD. Probably a tincture is a good place to start, and do it for a week or 10 days and see if it affects, the results that you're looking for.
Awesome. Do you?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say, because of the history of cannabis and the lack of research, and the fact that, well, you probably know better than us that you can certify someone as qualified for cannabis, but you can't prescribe like a regular doctor would. So I think the key for us is, again, the dispensary agents listening to what the symptom is and being able to provide some recommendations based on what the patient is asking for. and taking a look at, a lot of people don't want to smoke, so we want to make sure that we have edibles available. Some people want something that's faster acting, don't want to take an edible, so we'll have our water soluble products like our breath strips, our gum, or we'll be able to provide the tincture. So it's really the key is in listening to what the patient is looking for and trying to guide them correctly.
Makes sense. One of the questions I was going to ask was sort of what qualities you look for in the folks who are engaging with patients. It sounds like you want someone who's going to listen to people and really process meaningfully. Is there a training for the folks behind the counter, and what does that look like at Triple M?
Sure. So a lot of it is on the job because a lot of the information that we get is anecdotal. But when we hire new people, we typically have them start up front so they can get a general sense of the menu, our systems, especially with the medical side being as strict with regulations as it is. It's a good place to start out. And then from there, it's a lot of personal research, research on your own, and then a lot of on-the-job training. Because the best way to learn is to hear the stories from the patients themselves and to work with dispensary agents who've been doing it for a while. Because there on any condition, you have to start out, are we treating the condition or the symptoms? Are we really trying to attack the problem, or are you just trying to feel better? And being able to take the conversation from there, you can really dig down deep with a lot of the different conditions that we see.
And I think one of the keys that we look for when we hire a new dispensary agent is empathy. You can't teach that. Yeah. We find a lot of folks that have come from a medical service background or even a retail background that know how to relate to people and talk to them and draw them out. You can't always teach that. So it's very important for us when we hire somebody that we're hiring people that are friendly and are good listeners and are willing to spend whatever time and effort needed to make the patient feel comfortable. That's a key to us.
Oh, tremendous. In terms of products themselves, you have sort of the non-cannabis stuff, and then you have the cannabis-rich stuff. Do you guys have a focus on certain cannabinoids? Is it primarily, making available THC and CBD? Are there other terpenes, flavonoids, or other sort of components that you think patients would want to hear about?
Yeah, threw that one right into Keith's wheelhouse.
Well, the biggest player, of course, is THC. And the second biggest player, of course, is CBD. And anything other than that, the one metaphor that we use is when you use cannabis, it's like going on a trip. And that no pun intended there. And the cannabinoids, the THC or the CBD, is like the gas pedal, and that determines the speed that you go at, depending on the potency of the product that you choose. But the steering wheel is actually the terpenes that are in the plant itself, and that will determine whether you have an experience that is sedative, relaxing, and help you to sleep, or is an experience that is focused and energizing. And it's, again, though it's not the same for everybody. It's sort of a general direction where we can suggest that people go. The flavonoid and a lot of any other products that are in the plant. The other thing that's complicated about the plant, which is also the thing that makes it unique, is that there are hundreds of compounds in the plant that all work together. And the human body is also very complicated. And I've attended several medical conferences at Harvard and at UCLA and listened to a lot of people give presentations. And to be honest, my opinion is that nobody really knows exactly how cannabis affects people. You have a general sense. We know that the bottom line is that it's safe. It is good for certain basic conditions. I mean, everybody would agree that it's helpful for certain types of pain. It's helpful for certain types of anxiety, and it's helpful for sleep. And those three things are very, very important. And then other conditions, if you find certain combinations of like sativa products that we find that the patients are becoming much more knowledgeable and are asking better questions than they did a few years ago when we first opened. But it is difficult. We're not, and the other compounds that are in the plant are we're not as sophisticated where we can extract like CBN or CBG or CBC, these other cannabinoids. They're in all those things are listed on any product that we sell, but we're not as sophisticated enough yet to be able to recommend a certain combination for a certain condition.
Makes sense. Awesome. Once customers have purchased a product, if they have questions about that or they have concerns about that, are there avenues where they can reach the dispensary and have help with that?
Absolutely. A lot of the time, especially with first-time patients, just getting them to come in the door is half the battle. And then once you get there, you have to find something that they're comfortable to take, because if they get something that's going to have a negative effect, they're never coming back to it. And it might be something that's hugely beneficial to them. So a lot of the time when people leave, especially on the first visit, but any visit, the dispensary agent will tell them, if you have any questions, feel free to call. We're here every day. And we have people that follow up, and it's great, to then talk them through it, or that, they take it the first time and they didn't feel anything, but they're scared to go a little bit higher. And you can kind of talk them through it and again, put them in the right frame of mind to where they're going to get a benefit out of that. Because if they have a bad experience, that's it for most people.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. When people are shopping in Triple M, what sorts of privacy protections can they expect?
So we do have a patient consultation room if they so choose, where it's just strictly one-on-one with a dispensary agent. But honestly, most people, we're so spread out. If you come into our medical dispensary, it's a very long counter, and we only have 3 agents going at a time. So you've got some physical separation. But again, if anybody ever needs to go into a separate room, if they don't feel comfortable, that's something that we offer.
And I also think because, as I mentioned, medical is a separate room from adult use, I think that just brings the comfort level right up immediately when they come in, and they know that they're not surrounded by other people or strangers who are trying to listen in on their conversation, because of the way, as Michael said, the dispensary is set up. There is a lot of privacy for someone to stand there or sit down, have chairs if they just want to sit in the dispensary and have a conversation and peruse the menu with one of our agents. They can do that as well. Mm-hmm. But we try to make it as comfortable as possible for them.
Awesome. You mentioned that you have a pretty big menu, but if you had to pick a couple products, and maybe this is a question for each of you, if you had to pick a couple products that you think are the most popular, or the most well-liked or the best reviewed, I'd love people watching to have a sense of what you guys think are popular products.
Well, I would like to say that we have several products that we, as I mentioned before, that we consider whole plant. For example, the tinctures that we sell, the way we make them is we take the flower buds, we activate them called decarboxylating them with some heat over time. And then we just take the flower buds and we mix them with coconut oil and some lecithin. We stir it up for about 8 hours and we strain it, and then we put it in a bottle. That's it. So everything that's in the plant is what we're offering the patient. And I think I haven't checked a lot of dispensaries, but for example, our tinctures, our honey, and our capsules are all made in a very simple way like that. It has everything that's in the plant. And I think that's very important that we offer that to people.
And our honey is very popular because it comes from a local beekeeper. So when we say local, the honey comes from the beehive location right up in Pembroke, right up the street from us.
Are the bees stoned before they make honey, or is it added after the honey is made?
Mike, you might want to talk about some of the other products that have been moving quickly off the shelves lately as well. Other than obviously flour is always going to be a big seller.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say flower is still king, for sure. And I will say it's not just lip service, but when we do have our own strains come out, people come down. It's great. I mean, the in-house crosses, people are always excited to try out and to see what sorts of things they're coming up with out back. But beyond flower, I mean, on the medical side, I would say one of our biggest newer items, when we started doing full spectrum chews, so edibles that are geared either indica or sativa, those ones flew off the shelves. And they're great for people because it gives them an option for daytime, nighttime. Obviously our new canna spritzers, those have been wildly popular. They just came on Tuesday, but they've really taken off. And again, even any of our water soluble products, the hot buttons, the breath strips, the canna syrups, it gives people a new option for fast acting edibles, which I think a lot of people are looking for, especially those that would prefer not to smoke. So,
I would say one of our other popular products is the salves that we have, Sweet Relief or Nikki's Ice, which are topicals that are great. My mom uses them on her arthritic knees. I use them on my arthritic hands. People swear by them. They've been very, very popular.
I can tell you as a redhead too, I've never used something that works better on a sunburn. Fantastic.
Interesting to hear. No, that's funny. Awesome. Any other products that you think are popular that we haven't covered that people would want to hear about?
We offer tarantulas. I haven't seen them too many places around us. It's a pre-roll that's rolled in either shatter or distillate and then covered with keef. People tend to find that those will help them with their pain or need for sleep, for sure. But they've been very popular lately too.
Yeah. And I think just for some very specific patients, the Rick Simpson oil, though it may not be the biggest seller in the dispensary, but it has a very, very loyal customer base because of the specific needs that it's treating.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I mean, what's coming through also is that there are resources for new patients as well as some experienced patients, products that are quite a bit strong for folks who might be new, but, ideal for people who have a little bit of experience. Are there other products that you think might be worth sharing with the folks who have experience? You mentioned some higher dose products, I think edibles. Do you have selections of other products that are useful for folks who are experienced?
Sure, we have a full run of concentrates, our shatter, sugar wax, crumble. They've all been very popular. On the medical side, we come out with some edibles that we call them our ultra dose that have been up, around or even over 100 milligrams a piece. So we do, and at the same time, we have a 4 milligram option. So we do really cover the full spectrum of doses. But no, we really do for every level. We have something for them for sure.
At the opposite end, we're about to come out with a variety of our beverage line, which I want to call a microdose product. It's only going to have 2 milligrams of THC and 4 milligrams of CBD. And I think that as an alcohol alternative, or for people that are cannabis hesitant, I think it's going to be something that people will enjoy. The CBD has therapeutic potential. The CBD can cut down on some of the undesirable effects of the THC, but only 2 milligrams. And I think that's a unique product. I think microdosing is going to get bigger as cannabis becomes more accepted.
Awesome. Any other higher CBD products that you guys carry? Higher than the THC?
Yeah, we have CBD capsules. We have CBD tinctures, and the medical products of CBD. And again, all of the CBD products that we have a very small amount of THC in them. And I think that that's a real important thing for people to understand, that CBD alone CBD with a little bit of THC is better than CBD alone,
Mhm.
in my opinion, in my
Yeah,
experience.
Of course, yeah, the data supports that they work synergistically to help each other. If people want to learn more about Triple M, what are the options in terms of ways they can learn more?
Well, obviously our website, triple-mdispensaries.com, there's a lot of information on that website, including research papers that Keith has found and that we post on the website for people that really want to dive in. We have our info at email address where we get a lot of inquiries. We're always, as Mike said, a phone call away. If our dispensary receptionists are busy talking to someone else, if you leave a message, you'll get a phone call back immediately as soon as they can. And we're finding lately that we're getting a lot of inquiries through social media, through our Facebook page, through Instagram, through Twitter. So we're trying to get ourselves out there in pretty much any medium possible. So
Great.
if people do have questions, we're either an email, a phone call, or a tweet away.
Awesome. And just to make sure that people know, what's the typical catchment of patients or customers that you see in terms of geography, demographics, ages? Who are the usual customers for a Triple M?
Well, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so we see it's everybody. I mean, we see mostly South Shore, South Coast, I'd say, but especially with people heading to the Cape, we're right off the highway, so it's a great place to stop in on your way down. But age-wise, I would say we typically trend on a little bit on the older side for medical and a little bit younger for adult use. But that being said, I mean, we see people that just turned 21 and even younger. We see pediatric patients all the way up to people, 80, 90 years old, and men, women, all ethnicities. It's a very wide range of people that we see on a daily basis.
And I would say our Mashpee base tends to run a bit older. Right now, we're the only medical dispensary on the Upper Cape, and so the base there is anyone from all the way over to Chatham to Orleans, Mashpee, Bourne, Falmouth, Sandwich, the whole bit. I imagine that geography will spread a little more once we open for our adult use recreational sales in a couple of months. There'll probably be quite a tourism base for all the Cape Cod visitors now that the Cape is reopening that we'll expect to see this summer.
No doubt. And I know a lot of patients are excited about deals and discounts and bargains. And do you guys have any incentives either for everyday medical people or for special categories of people like veterans, students, older patients, terminally ill patients, anything like that?
Sure. So our everyday discounts, we offer a senior discount, a financial hardship discount, a veteran discount, which is 15%, and then a 100% disabled veteran discount, which is 25% off every Tuesday. We also offer first responder, pediatric. I think that's all of them right now. That's in addition to any deals that we have going on any given day. But yeah, we always want to make it as affordable an option as possible for people. It is medicine, so we want to make sure that they can get what they need.
For sure.
And, one of the perks of having your medical card as opposed to not, and having to shop on the adult use side, and not just the 20% you save on the taxes, but the fact that and the mix of dosing, but we're able to offer discounts on the medical side, and including special discounts like every dispensary had on Tuesday, they're 20% off or whatever. But typically when there's a holiday or something coming along, in addition to our everyday discounts, we'll try to offer special discounts on the medical side as well.
I forgot, we do have a great loyalty program also, where it's, every dollar spent, you get essentially half a point. Every 10 points is $10. So you really can save just by coming in. Yeah,
and it's very simple. All you have to do is you don't have to have a card punched or or fill out a form or anything else. If you're a medical patient, you're automatically enrolled.
I would like to respond a little bit to your inquiry about the population that we serve. I remember a couple of years ago, Kevin and I gave a presentation at the Plymouth Council on Aging, and it was standing room only. It was like there were like 150 people, and the population of people that are older and their acceptance of cannabis is really inspiring to me. You know, sometimes when I walk through the dispensary, or if I see people coming in and out of the parking lot, it's always, you know, people think that the stereotype is it's a bunch of, you know, young people that just want to, you know, get high, to be honest, but that's not the case at all. There's a lot of older people who are using cannabis very successfully without the side effects that typical pharmaceuticals can give you. And that's one of the reasons one of the things that keeps me going is I really think that we're helping people, helping older people with cannabis. And I get a lot of positive feedback when people find out this is what I do for a living. And so I think that's an important thing to emphasize.
I think the last time I looked, the average age of our customer was somewhere just north of 41 years old. So that says a lot.
For sure. Yeah, awesome. Anything that you guys wanted to share with the audience that maybe we didn't cover or that you want them to know? We covered a lot.
I would just say that, again, reiterate that we're a locally owned and operated company that really strives to be a welcoming place for all of our patients, whether they're new or regulars. We really take pride in not only the quality of our product, but the quality of our service as well. Gentlemen, I don't know if you want to add anything else to that.
Yeah, I would like to say that the quality of the processing that goes on in the lab, the products that we make, we don't cut any corners. We don't add any additives. Our ingredients are very basic, and I've heard we have some people who work for us who have worked at other places, and I hear lots of stories. I'm very naive about, you know, business and you know, trying to make a profit and all that, but I'm very pleased and proud of the quality of the things that we make, and I think that's very important.
I'll piggyback that one. It makes my job easy knowing that the products coming out are top of the line and the best you're going to find. So, you know, I hope everybody comes down and says hi and you meet the team, because it is a good group that we have, and we're only looking to expand going into the summer.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all. Michael, Kevin, Keith, I appreciate your time and sharing so much about Triple M. It's really been a fantastic introduction. I'm thrilled to have people learn about you guys, and we have the websites that they can check out, and hopefully, you know, come find you guys as familiar faces if they want to learn more. Awesome. Thanks so much for spending a great night. It was wonderful to hear about Triple M and to meet all of you guys.
And we really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Good night.